I don't know.
Just shut her.
Oh, no one was. No, sorry, Shannon.
Oh.
Sorry, I still think about the Chinese thing.
Okay, well, these formulas won't be very useful if you don't know what all this means. What does the B stand for example?
Base.
Okay, more specifically, it means base area, right? So, well, maybe I should back up a little bit and say, what's a prism?
Like a box or shape.
Okay, it's like two identical polygons that are connected. So like, what's this?
Cylinder?
Triangular prism. So notice the triangles are identical. Okay, triangles are identical. They should also be parallel to each other, but so these are called the bases, the identical sides, and then these up and down sides we call the lateral sides, lateral faces. And this is kind of how you find the area of the lateral faces. We did perimeter of the, P stands for perimeter of the base. So like, how far around is it? And then H stands for the height of the prism. Okay, it's kind of confusing because not only does, okay, so the capital B stands for the area of the base, right? Like how big is this? The capital H stands for the height of the prism, but the little triangular base also has a base and a height. Does that make sense? So we just call that a little b and a little h. And then this is, a big B is the whole area of the triangle, and the big H is the height of the prism. Got it? So there's a base and a height for the prism, and there's a base and a height for the base of the prism. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So when I said what does B stand for, and you said the base, well, it means the base area. Okay, so that means whatever the base is, you have to find its area. If it's a triangle, you have to do the triangle formula. If it's a, whatever, trapezoid, do a trapezoid. Okay, so for a regular poly base, what do you think that means? Like a hexagon. Okay. Any kind of, remember yesterday we talked about finding the area of regular polygons? How do we do that? What formula did we learn yesterday for the area of regular polygons?
Half AP.
Right, 1/2 apothem perimeter. So I just kind of changed this a little bit. I probably could have skipped this one, but I just wanted to remind you, 1/2 apothem perimeter is the area of the base if it's a regular polygon. So I replaced the bases with 1/2 apothem perimeter on that. Yeah, for the volume of a prism, it's kind of easy. You just do the area of the base times the height of the prism. Depending on what the base is. What's a cylinder? Like a can or something. Two circular, it's basically a prism, but it has circular bases instead of polygon bases. So for the surface area, you do two circle areas, 2 pi r squared, plus, instead of the perimeter times the height of the cylinder, it's circumference times the height of the cylinder. So that's how that changed. Instead of base times height for the volume, it's area of the base, area of the circle, pi r squared times height. Pyramid, what makes a pyramid a pyramid?
It's like a shape on the bottom, but then like it goes up to a point.
Polygon, yeah, it has a polygon base. Polygonal. Like it could be any shape on the base, it doesn't have to be a square, but it always comes up to a point. pyramid. Cone comes up to a point, but its base is circular. And a sphere. Last but not least, which just means a ball shape. Alright. Did you guys remember these formulas? Of course. You gotta memorize, right?
Yeah.
So on pyramids and cones, they both, for their volume, they both have a 1/3 on them. Like you divide by 3 or multiply by 1/3. Anyway, these are all of them. Any questions on that so far? Okay, let's look at that worksheet. Number 1, so I don't know why they put a sphere on 1 and 2, but we're supposed to be doing surface area. So number 1 is a what? Sphere. So it's just 4 pi r squared. So what's the only variable is the r. What's the r on number 1? 3, not 6. So you could easily get that one wrong. So it's 4 pi times 3 squared. R is the radius. 6 in that picture is the diameter. So we have to use 3 for the radius. Now, back when we did this chapter, 9 times 4 is 36. Most of the time, we left our answer as 36 pi. How should I label this, by the way? Inches squared. This worksheet does say round to the nearest tenth. So if it does say that, that means you should turn it into a decimal probably. So what's 36 times pi? Round it to the tenths place. 113.4. 1. Alright, 2 is the same thing. I don't know why they did that. Screwed up. But you just put 10 for the radius. You don't have to split it in half. $1252.1. Is that right? No. Good. I would have plugged it in. $1256. Yep, and I got it wrong.
You're close.
Okay. Number 3 is a cylinder. So the cylinder formula was 2 circle areas plus circumference times height. So the R is 5, so you just put a 5 right there and right there, and the height is 7. So that should do it. Alright, number 4. Oh, what'd you guys get on 3? I guess we'll say it. 230. Let's see, that's inches. I don't know if I labeled the last one. This one's kilometers. Like a little asteroid. Okay, number 4 is a what? Not a cube, it's a rectangular prism, or you could say square prism since the base is squared. It's not a cube though, because the height is not the same as the length and width. So, formula for a for the surface area is 2 base heights plus the perimeter times height. So 2 base areas, I should say. So how do we find the base area on number 4? 12 times 12. That would give us the area of the square base. So, and then there's 2 of them. So 2 times 12 times 12 plus, what is P gonna be? Perimeter, which would be what? 12 times 4, or 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. So it's 48, right? And then what would the height of the prism be? 8. So that would do it. Should there only be 6 phones up there? Anybody not put their phone up there? Oh. You guys probably shouldn't do that. Alright, anyways. Number 5. What's changing on number 5? Volume. How do we find the volume? Oh, what shape is number 5? It's pyramid. I should say, what's the solid on number 5? It's pyramid. So how do we do pyramids? 1/3 base times height. How do we find the area of the base? 7 times 5. So it's just 1/3 times 7 times 5 times the height is 10. Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about? Anybody notice it? Anybody's writing these down? Which letter did I not talk about up here?
This letter?
The L. What did L mean? Slant height, which means the height that's going down the slant of the pyramid or cone. So normal height just goes straight up and down, perpendicular, but slant height goes sideways. Okay. Forgot what I was doing. Oh, well, that's the answer, basically. This one doesn't come out very nice. It was like, what'd you guys get? 116.7 feet. Feet what? Cubed. Yeah. Number 6. This one can be a little bit tricky because, well, what's the shape called? Rectangular prism. But which side is the base? Well, on rectangular prisms, notice that all of the opposite sides are the same, right? So really you can use any 2 sides for your bases. If I was doing it, I would probably choose the 6x7, the little rectangle. Because it's like a building that's tipping over. That's how I think of it. Anyways, I would use the 6 and 7, the little rectangle for the base. So, the area of the base, if I use the little rectangle, how would I find the area of the base? 6 times 7. And then if that's my base, then what's the height of my prism? 12. So when you're doing a rectangular prism, the volumes are super easy. You just do length times width times height. Just the 3 dimensions multiplied together. 42, 420 plus 84, 504 kilometers cubed. nothing too tricky here. So it's just 4/3 pi. I guess some people might forget it to cube it. You have to cube the radius for the volume. Alright, however, number 8 is kind of tricky. What shape is number 8? What's kind of solid is it? It's a, yes. It was very fancy. You even said the isosceles part. It's a trapezoidal prism. The only two sides that are like perfectly congruent, symmetrical, are the two trapezoids. So those two trapezoids are going to be our bases. So remember, the formula is just base times height, but the base in this case is a trapezoid. So, you guys remember yesterday, what was the area for a trapezoid?
Base over height.
I think you said it wrong again.
Oh yeah, over 2 times height.
Yeah, well, yeah, you might still have it in your notes from yesterday. So we need to do base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the little height, or the trapezoid height, times the prism height. Area of the base times height. Okay, what would the bases, I really don't want to draw that. What would the bases of the trapezoid be? Little base and little base. For number 8. Yeah, 11 and 6. You guys see where I got that from? On the back of the shape, it shows that this top line's 11, and on the front, it shows that that's a 6. Yeah. So it's 11 and 6 for the bases, and they draw like a weird looking line, but it's supposed to be perpendicular, so it's 5.5 for the height. So it's 11 plus 6 divided by 2 times 5.5 times, okay, what would the height of the prism be? If the trapezoid is the base, what's the height? If the trapezoid is the base of the prism, what would be the height of the prism? 10. 5.5 is the height of the trapezoid, but what's the height of the prism? If the trapezoid is the base, you guys see what I'm saying? So if you think of this as like on the bottom, what would the height be? That's 10 side. Trapezoidal. Kind of a fun word.
It's 2 words.
Shannon.
You know what?
Stupid.
Punch a tree.
I would never.
He's forest. He's one with the trees.
Yeah, Sharon, you shouldn't have forgotten about his backstory.
What's your backstory?
I was a sapling.
You could be a superhero and have
You'd
power.
be like
If you were a
Groot.
superhero, what
You got bit by a
what power
radioactive
would you
tree.
want?
How did the power of
I feel like 90% of people would say flight.
I have a really good superpower.
Teleportation.
In a world full of superheroes, let's say theoretically.
You might see some stuff you don't want to see. That'd be disturbing.
My power would be to steal other people's
You can sit there for
life
eternity.
memories. Just
That's
use their
crazy.
memories to gain
You
knowledge.
probably
I do teleportation.
Forest.
Like if I walk
How would it be like you
If
can
you have
control
the
the
power to
trees?
pause time, you could
Well,
literally
that's
walk
what
around
they
the
say.
entire world in years
Well,
and years and years,
let's
and
see
come
if
back
it's
to when you're in
like,
ninth
you
grade.
got your
Power
very big
for
brain.
it.
That would be
Alright,
Oh, being able to pause my actually,
I choose the power problem.
I'd rather do that.
So what would you choose?
I don't know,
Power
maybe flight.
probability. I increase my probability that I'll.
What would be better than flight?
That's
Teleportation, reading minds, I don't know.
I increase the probability that I'm gonna end up in China by tomorrow, or wherever I want to go.
I think
I was like, why China?
you don't want to hear everything that people say. So I don't think you want to read people's minds.
Oh no, you
I
don't.
definitely do not.
Actually,
I
you don't.
do. I think it'd be so much fun.
I would think all the
I would stay away from you. I would never go near.
Shannon,
But
that's
none of you would know. I would run.
Yeah, I know. That's
Okay.
I think I
really
would
hard.
tell anyone.
Shh, number 9. Okay, 9 is a cylinder, so we have to do pi r squared h. What's the r for number 9? 11. 22 is the diameter, so the radius is 11. So you do 11 squared times pi times the height of the cylinder is 12. So when you say height, it's not necessarily the up and down line, it's the relative to what the base is the height. In this case, it's 12. Okay, number 10 is a pyramid, so it's 1/3 base times height. But how would we find the base on number 10? 5 times 5, so it's just 1/3 times 5 times 5 times the height, which is 1. That one's kind of easy. 75. I'm running into my algebra 2 stuff.
Curve.
Oh,
I was gonna just skip this one.
This is Shannon.
Alright, number 11 is a cone, so we need pi r squared times h. So, what is the r on number 11? 9. So it's 9 squared times pi. Does order multiplication matter? Times 18. No, it does not.
Oh my gosh, what we were 18?
What?
Dave, no.
Okay, actually, these are kind of tricky, but I want you guys to try 12 through 14, maybe in the next 5 minutes. And then we'll see how many get right. There's a couple tricks we have not talked about yet, though, so I don't know if you figured it out or not. We'll see. Yes. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot the 1/3 on this last one.
Oh, yeah. Like I had it wrong.
Excuse me, Ken, but
I'm moving the 3.
it's not me, it's you.
This sneeze.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I
That
will,
was how she sees it.
I will munch on your silicate.
Yeah. She does that for real.
Bro,
It's so hard not to laugh.
There's a huge wine on, and then
Yeah.
Excuse me, boys, but I'd like you to like. Burger.
what shape is number 12, by the way? You should ask that.
Triangular prism.
Yeah, triangular prism. It's just a short one. Hmm. No.
Mr. Jordan, are you gonna like after like school's over, are you gonna miss Forrest?
Why Forrest?
He's like the most missable person. He's like the best person.
You're creeping him out. That means you're so late.
Can you not? It was Shelby.
Oh, I thought you said Grant.
No.
What'd you do at the same time?
We flipped over our paper to see on the other
Oh.
side.
I thought you like yawned at the same time or something.
No. Have you guys ever tried that thing where you like yawn to see if
Someone's
the person
looking at
looking at you?
Yes.
I'm looking at you right now, Shannon. and I'm not gonna yawn, but I'm gonna cry right now.
Sex?
Not because I've not blinked in the past 5 minutes.
I've always
I'm
heard
gonna
it
cry because of how
Huh?
sad you are.
Grant, you're learning.
She didn't listen. She didn't hear what I said.
She didn't do
I've not blinked in the past 5 minutes because I've been focusing on that.
She's learned to tune them out completely.
What are we talking about?
Shannon is the type of person to like eat a grilled cheese sandwich the wrong way.
You're the person to do that, right?
Tell me how.
You're the person. No, Caden's the person that uses shredded cheese, shredded Mexican cheese.
What's wrong with that?
For grilled cheese?
Yes, or grilled cheese.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a bad take by you. I'm like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't have said that out loud. That's embarrassing.
What in the world?
Alright.
Now we know how you really make your mac and cheese.
With cheese?
Grant,
Have it.
Grant, are you done with 13 and 14?
Yeah, I did
12.
12, 13, 14, and then 11 as well.
I did 11 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but like, it's done, you know?
Good job, Grant. I need a vertical sandwich.
A vertical sandwich? Number 9.
12 looks like a piece of
Does
pie.
anyone here ever have like a
Bro, for real, number 9 looks like a Whopper.
What?
Think about how long Shaggy takes.
I know, but
And
like,
he microwaved it.
that was, no.
Bro,
I don't
number
think
8
it's
looks like the average
Make a sandwich
McDonald's.
this
Like,
small. It takes him like 30 minutes. Just a
Simple.
sandwich.
Taste it too much.
okay, man.
You squeeze your guinea pig to
I've
death.
never heard of like a guinea hamster that died
Don't
normally.
enjoy it.
You ever had a guinea pig or hamster that died of like a normal death?
Yeah.
Every
No.
single
I
time.
just don't want those.
It's always some crazy death, bro.
Like, bro, my lovebird.
Died from geese in a field or something. Guinea pigs.
Still, you like
Wait,
squeeze
did
it
you
to
kill
death.
your hamster?
It wasn't my hamster.
So it was him.
He doesn't deny the murder, but
Wait.
he did.
My dad sold my guinea pig.
My dad killed my mom's dog.
We sold our guinea pigs like a long time ago, but we had a lovebird that we traded for them basically. And then the lovebird died from pneumonia during the winter because I forgot to put a blanket over its cage. So it just died during the night.
So it was your fault, correct?
No, I blamed it on the bird trying to escape the cage.
It had gone to the table while we weren't looking. It was just eating it off the table.
Alright, let's see how we did. On number 12, because it is a prism, we have to do area of the base times the height. So the base is a what?
Triangle.
Triangle. How do we find the area of that triangle though?
5, 5, 5.
Okay,
Half
but
of CNC.
what can we use for the base and the height of the triangle?
6 and 8.
6 and 8. Because when you're finding area, you need, if you have perpendicular legs here, then you can use those as the base and height, right? Because the height should be going straight up. So if you have perpendicular legs, 6 and 8 can be your base and height. So you could do for the base 6 times 8 divided by 2. Times, okay, and then what's the height of the prism? 5. So that one is 1.
7 times 11? No, wait, what?
Bro, this is like War Thunder after they actually they have 16.
Okay. 13 is a pyramid, so it's 1/3 area of the base times the height. But how do we find the area of the base on 13? 1/2 apothem because it's a regular hexagon. So, this is going to be kind of a mess. 1/2 apothem perimeter. What's the apothem? 6.1. Perimeter? 7 times 6. Yeah, or 42. And then height. 11. Alright, that should do it. You don't really need all those parentheses, but I was trying to show you like what are up there. But it's just a bunch of multiply. Lots of multiply.
Do you think that Cade has thoughts? Like,
Do you have thoughts?
do you think that? Can you say a thought that you have?
Why am I here?
That's a thing.
In school or in existence?
I don't know. You decide. Kid does the main character, dude. That's why you're here.
Bro, Cade for real is the main character of like an anime, bro.
Come on.
That's why he's so good.
You don't want to do the Issa might fall in love with you.
Yeah, I sure will.
I definitely don't want that. She didn't deny it. She didn't deny it.
Dude, Cade for
Kaden
real.
is terrified.
I have like hidden backstory for Cade, dude.
Regular version. How about you just say?
So
Kid,
He's
you're
so
gonna die.
bad.
You're gonna die for platinum. So that somebody else can take over this thing. So who would be the new
Alright, last one. Okay, number 14 is a pyramid as well, but how do we find the area of the base? Yeah, what can we use for the base and the height of the base? That sounds confusing, doesn't it? 6 and 8, just like number 12, you can use those two legs. So 6 times 8 divided by 2, just like last time. Height's 11.
Is that room right here in any other room? This doesn't make sense. Is Hope a time traveler?